Today is Wednesday, the 26th August 2026, and it is a pleasant morning, and a warm welcome to your program, Good Morning Sierra, the program that always starts your day. I am Shaku Smiley.
And I am Esther Sanko. Our quote of the day says, in politics, honesty and accountability are the foundations of public trust. I'll go again, our quote of the day says, in politics, honesty and accountability are the foundations of public trust.
Coming up in this edition of the program, Good Morning Sierra Leone, APC flag bearer Richard Conte criticizes PPRC's handling of party disputes.
And the SLPP National Publicity Secretary to address controversy over next flag bearer selection. And also Bishop Solomon Scott Manga to discuss free quality education and teachers' welfare.
All of these and more lined up in this edition of the program Good Morning Sierra Leone, reaching you live from a broadcasting house near England Village in Freetown. We are back, and the program you are still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, reaching you live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation and Television. Now, Esther, I know it wasn't that rainy this morning when we are still in the season. Exactly. So therefore, all precautions must be adhered to ensure that we are remain safe.
Exactly.
So how do we start the ball rolling this morning?
Well, we start the ball rolling as the role of the Political Parties Registration Regulation Commission, PPRC, is handling constitutional and internal disputes within political parties has been under reviewed public and political scrutiny. The issue has gained attention amid division within the main opposition All People's Congress, episodes questions being raised over the Commission's handling of concerns relating to compliance with the party's constitution and internal processes.
APC's flag bearer Richard Conte, doctor, criticized PPRC's not handling of matter raising questions about the Commission's constitutional and regulatory responsibility in managing disputes involving political parties.
Well, the Commission's handling of the APC's dispute is therefore expected to remain a subject of public and political debate as stakeholders seek greater clarity on its constitutional and regulatory responsibilities. Well, to discuss the ongoing APC situation as well as the party's position on the issue, we have been joined in the studio by Richard Conte, and we were supposed to have the APC National Deputy Publicity Secretary, Mohammed Pope Kamara, in the program this morning. But that could not deter us. We still have Richard Conte in the studio. Good morning, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
So for my intro, it's noted that you have issues with regards to the directive given by PPRC. Would you note out your concerns to the public so that they can understand your stance with regards to that?
No. My issue is not with the directive of the PPRC. We would approach them. If we had not approached PPRC, they would have intervened. If we had just complied with our constitution, it would have been fine, because our constitution makes no provision for tenure elongation. Section 52A is very clear that all national officers shall serve a term of 3 years, and they can be re-elected only once, and then they added a minimum. So which means you have 3 years, everything you need to do within 3 years. Our elections took place in February of 2023. So the 3-year term ended in February 2026. The executive now went and approached PPRC. My only issue with PPRC is that they should have intervened to give extension to the party, knowing fully well that our own constitution does not provide for it. Because when you start doing these things, you start laying the bedrock for them to keep asking for more, But then that is for them to say they relied on Section 39(5) of their own act, which said in maybe special circumstances they could give. But I like what SLPP did. They were given the 6 months extension by PPRC, but at the end of the 6 months extension, they put in place an interim. And it's the interim that took them to convention to elect the national officers. So all I'm asking for is for our party to emulate that good example. At the end of the 6 months, allow the interim to come in and take us to convention. Nothing says that we cannot continue providing support to that interim for them to succeed, because it's all about our party. Because if we don't do this, then we are making a mockery of tenure in any political dispensation. Then the other executive can come tomorrow and find some flimsy excuse to continue staying indefinitely. And the worst that can happen to us as a country is for this court to say they were right. Because it will be very bad for our jurisprudence. So every other time now anybody decides to overstay in office, they will make reference to that judgment. Just like the PPRC made reference to the Fisher judgment to decide to ask the minority leader in parliament to appoint 5 people to serve as a caretaker, because that is what Fisher did in 2022. So we have therefore to be very careful as leaders when we handle constitutional matters. And at a time like this, when the APC is battling with the SLPP government over constitutional matters, I think this is not the best time for us to be flouting our own constitution, because it then weakens our argument as a party. And since I am one of the few that speaks out in defense of our party's position and in condemning the SLPP for their excesses, I want to be armed enough. I want to come with moral fortitude. I want to come with a clear conscience against them. But if actions like this take place, it weakens me. So I will continue to put pressure on my party to do the right thing, so that when they do the right thing, then we'll not be ready to go against.
No, Dr. Conte, the APC, the current APC executive argues that dissolution of party executive according to the 2022 constitution happens at the NEC, the National Delegates Conference. That is the argument. I know you.
You know, Sumaila, for you to be president, you have to qualify to be member of parliament. So just because you are a Sierra Leonean does not mean you qualify automatically to be president. If you don't meet the criteria set out in the constitution for you to be a member of parliament, you cannot be president. Similarly, for you to be a member of the National Advisory Committee or the National Executive Committee, you should have been elected as a national officer or as a district chairman. Okay? And when you are elected for 3 years. So if the 3 years have elapsed, the 6 months given to you by the PPRC have elapsed, you are no longer chairman. So how can you now claim membership of NAC when you are no longer chairman? The other day I saw Pope on Liberty says he is no longer Deputy National Publicity Secretary, but he is a member of NEC, and therefore says NEC will be dissolved at the next convention so he can continue. You cannot continue because you are a member of NEC because you are Deputy National Publicity Secretary. So when you cease to be National Deputy Publicity Secretary, you automatically cease to be a member of NEC. So this is the way they are trying to mislead people.
No, they are saying, but the institutional that has the mandate, you know, to regulate, you know, all political parties in this country is the PPRC. But the delays going to NDC, you know, are not anything that they should be blamed for, because there are some kind of instability in the party. So they had to mend some of those for the NDC to take place. The reason the PPRC gave them that extension. Now again, the extension has been given by the regulatory body, the PPRC. So they are saying they are not in office illegally because they've got well, can I say the backing, or they've got some kind of an understanding with the PPRC.
Yes, because the very members of the National Executive Committee took the party and PPRC to court. That in itself undermines the basis of their existence. But let me go. The whole issue here is that if you go to PPRC or you go to IECB and ask them to show you the list of complaints or the types of issues that were brought as petitions to the IECB or to the PPRC, you will see that 90%, if not more, of those complaints are due to removal of names, addition of names, things that fall within the purview of the Secretariat to have been handled. Things that came as a result of either their failure to do the right thing because somebody wants to do mischief. How can you explain how they do conduct an election today? You give them a list, like in Constituency 66, they gave a list of the voters. Overnight, by the time they wanted to do a rerun of that election 1 week later, 400 names have been added to that list. And that created the confusion.
In fact, this mischief, you know, this mischief you just have spoken about, you know, the questions, one of the questions many people are asking is that among all the flag aspirants, it's only Dr. Richard Conte, you know, who has blown the whistle. They are saying, but it is that Dr. Conte feels, but this particular executive, you know, it's not been fair insofar as dealing with you know, flag aspirants is concerned.
Oh no. If I will win, even if they conduct the election.
You came second the last time, right?
Yes. Okay. I will still win. So that's not the issue. I will still win. But it is a bad precedent that they are trying to set. You know, we are now battling with the SLPP over constitutional issues. So we've already had Mambu saying that they might extend 2 years. They're using a flimsy excuse about Corona and lying about Ernest Koroma extending. They forgot that Ernest Koroma was elected in 2007, and then the next elections were conducted in November 2012. That's 5 years. It's just the 3 months allowed for by law. Okay, and then the next elections were conducted in March 2018. Again, within the 5 years plus the 3 months permissible by law. Madabio did the same thing. He added the 3 months permissible by law. So you cannot come and say you will add 2 years because Ernest Koroma added 1.5 years. Where did Ernest Koroma add 1.5 years? Lies. But I want to be able to take on the SLPP on the issues. Rather than say, well, man, just clear out. Even your party does not respect constitution. How can they come here to argue about constitution? I want to have the moral fortitude.
But no, what is the relationship? What is the current relationship, between you and this current executive of your party?
Very good.
But you're always raising concerns.
Oh yes,
you have been blowing the whistle on most issues. So that's why we are concerned as with the relationship you have with this present executive. It's like you don't trust this current executive.
I address issues. I don't address personalities. I address issues. I have no issues personally with the individuals. I think I've mentioned on other platforms that Pastor gave me my first job at age 17. He's my dad. I have tremendous respect for him. Last night is like a brother to me. Most of the other executive members are my personal friends. But for me, it's not about me. It's not about how I feel or don't feel about Sumaila, or how I feel or don't feel about Josephine, who is heading SLBC. If SLBC does the wrong thing, even though Josephine is my friend, I will condemn it. And if we don't start at making a distinction between personalities and issues, we'll have a problem. That is why when I take on SLPP, I take on SLPP on the issues, not the personalities. Most of the guys in the government are either my college mates or my students or my friends. Okay, but that does not stop me from taking them on the issues. The Attorney General is my bosom friend. It's like a younger brother to me. But when we have legal issues that I disagree with him vehemently. Understand? The ACC boss, the Minister of Information and Communication or Civic Education. I mean, they had relationships with some members of my family. Okay, very intimate relationships. But that doesn't mean that if they are doing the wrong thing, I will not say it. But that doesn't mean that if I do the wrong thing, they will not come after me. No. We have to make a distinction between the issues and the person.
Are you suspecting any foul play against you, Dr. Richard Conte? The Marco came second in the last NDC. I mean, for the flag race of your party, you came second.
Yes.
And now you just mentioned an incident in one of the constituencies where the list, according to you, was doctored. So it seems as though there is lack of trust there.
First of all, I don't have confidence in this group as constituted to be able to take us to convention before 2028.
So now you have answered the question.
Okay, no. Wait. I don't have confidence in them, but it is not personal. Okay, it is informed by the fact that over 3.5 years after they were elected, we are still on ward election. We still have some ward elections that have not been concluded. We still have some constituency elections that have not been concluded. And we still have matters in front of the IECB and the MPRC. And at least one matter, constituency 54, is now in court. What is the guarantee that this group, as currently constituted, will ever take us to NDC? So we cannot afford to continue taking a risk with them. The time is up. Let the interim body come in, whatever the composition that has been prescribed by the PPRC. If the court comes back and says no, they will vary it, fine. We'll abide by it. But that will not stop me from saying that you guys have done the wrong thing. You shouldn't have gone down this route.
But as it stands, the PPRC, their hands are tied because now the matter is before the court.
Yeah. No. I mean, they wanted to just...
that is what they said. We hosted Eugene Momode and he said
I know. I was with
their hands are tied as it stands.
I was with him on AYB. Yeah, they are saying that. Fair enough. That is why this executive had no business taking us to court. They're just delaying the process for us. Now, if I go by the judgment official in 2022, every action that they have taken will be illegal. If the current judge handling this matter goes by the precedent, the judgment official, then every action that these guys will be taking after February will be illegal. And so, can you imagine if we now have to go and start our lower level elections all over? Do you know how much it has cost us as flag bearer aspirants? And how much it will cost us again? Do you know the chaos it will bring to our party at the end of the day? So why not avoid all of this? But just doing the right thing. You know? Do the honorable thing. Not just stepping aside.
But if you have to take legal action, you know, between the two, I mean, the PPRC and this current executive of your party, which of them will you take to court, for example?
I will never go to court against my party. I will never take my party to court.
Well, if they refuse to go?
If they refuse to go, I will have made my points clear, I've made my voice heard, and that's the point of view. That's it for me. I will never take my party to court.
Alright, thank you so much. He is Dr. Richard Conte, one of the flag aspirants for the main opposition, APC. He is dissatisfied with the state of the current executive. And so far as he's concerned, the party's tenure has elapsed. And in his words, we have to go. We continue with the program, and you are watching Good Morning live from Broadcasting House in England, in Freetown. Now let us shift a bit to education. Former Principals Conference President Bishop Solomon Scott Manga is here to discuss free quality education and teachers' welfare. Education remains one of the key pillars of development, with the sustainability of the free quality education program and the welfare of teachers and principals continue to attract public attention. Former President of the National Conference of Principals, Bishop Solomon Scott Manga, is calling on government and next government to be, not to implement the free quality education scheme. We're in the studios to talk more on this is Bishop Scott Manga himself. Good morning, Bishop, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Now, why do you think this government or future government, should discontinue the free quality school education scheme?
In the very first place, I want to congratulate you guys because I'm seeing a lot of development gradually.
Thank you, sir.
And you are not taking the national phase. Previously it was not national. I think you guys are now doing something great. I want to start my talk from the time of the late President Amati Kaba, because after the war, and he saw that, he found that it would be difficult for parents to pay fees of their children So he brought in this girl child support, more especially to encourage the girls, because since this teenage pregnancy or early marriage, a lot of people allow their children to go to school. So he brought that free education for girl child, and also the primary sector from class 1 to class 6. And also he decided to pay the examination fees for all cadres, that is NPSC, Beckley and White. He brought that idea, and that was during the days of this Dr. how do you call it, worry, Alpha Worry, you know, and he really rolled it out the right way. And by then, you know, we as principals, we are enjoying really, you know, the type of things that we are going. Then later, came President Kuruma, and I know he also he did have stopped it at that moment, because if he did, then the SLPP will use that, you know, to bring them down that he has killed education. So he decided to move along with it, to run with that pattern, because governance is continuity. But along the way, we started seeing a lot of lapses.
Governance is continuity, Bishop Scott Manga. But then, governance also means that you should discontinue what you think is not right.
But in that aspect, we the citizens should have understand what if they decided to stop it. So he decided to run with it. But unfortunately, the funds were not also forthcoming. Like more especially schools that were purely cards, they were really getting problems. I had that envisaged that because one point in time, the current Secretary General of SLPP, Honorable Parantara, he was part of the education committee. Then they went to board, they said they want to see us, the principals, then we went. By then I was set to conference of principals. You know, after they blamed, pour all the blames on we the principals. I had wanted to talk, but my chairman was sitting by me, he was squeezing me, you know, he was afraid. Then I raised my hand, they gave me one audience to speak. And I told them, I thanked them, and I said, in the very first place, I never knew that there's such committee in Parliament, because there are things going on wrong in this nation. We have not heard it from Parliament. Because you are representing people, you have people, no recruitment of teachers, no approval of schools, a lot of things, no payment of subsidies, those things we are lacking. I said, well, nothing. And I told them, honorable members, if you don't see politics out of education, for education to forge ahead, it will be difficult. Like even this free quality, it should have been a national something, national policy. Because one, in the very first place, if it succeeds, SLPP will use it as a trump card to promote their agenda.
Saying it should have been a national policy because it was a declaration by the president.
It was a declaration, but the day of
and a flagship program.
No, it was a flagship program, but it was on his, what we call it, manifesto. It was not on national manifesto. What we should try to discourage. I thank God I have a politician here who is also maybe God will add blessing to him for him to lead the APC or whatsoever.
Yeah,
so if they do that, let them don't have individual party manifestos. Let there be one national manifesto policy. You know, when we do that, if party A is not in power today, when party B comes, party B will take the
this free quality education scheme, Bishop, it's not backed by law. You know, it has not been legislated.
That is what I'm saying.
It's just a policy.
That is what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. One, the question you are asking, I'm just trying to make this premise. Because, okay, that was the flagship program of His Excellency, because from his own manifesto, that he wants to, you know, build on what? Human capacity, you know, and that is very good, because for any country to forge ahead, if we have more illiterate people, I think there will be a problem. But again, I think it is the reverse. During the days of President Shaka Stevens, we had more, you know, there were not more educated people, you know, degree holders, let me put degree holders in their government than these days. It seems as if we the degree holders are destroying, you know, what we call governance. But the fact remains, he had a very good plan. And when this thing started, I was fortunate to be in to go with West African wire to Gambia. We were there because since I was also the Secretary General for West African Confederation of Principals, so we were trying to, you know, share ideas as to how to improve on our, you know, schools when we go back. So what happened? Then I said, we, the current government is trying to bring out this thing, free education. So what happened? So I decided to learn from Ghana's own experience, and they gave me their own experience, and they said the thing is cool. They catalogued all the how do we call it, the advantages, but I was more eager to the disadvantage. And one of the advantages, or the advantages they raised on, increase in enrollment, and that we saw it.
Even in Sierra Leone.
In Sierra Leone, that is you know what?
That is what they have been saying.
Then it removes the financial burden from the parents. You understand? Then also the low dropout rate. Then the last one on the advantage was the gender equity. Now you can see even in Sierra Leone, the girls are doing much more better. They are really competing, you know, with the boys. But the disadvantage came at overcrowding and and lack of infrastructure. We saw it, and also this double shift system. It cuts down on the learning quality, because we used to go to school from 8 to 2, but if you have double shift system, you reduce it now from 8 to 12 or 12:30.
So Bishop, do you think this affects the children as well, especially for children in government schools? Because before now,
it affects them.
Because before now, we used to see government school topping the charts when it comes to public exams. But over the years, when most of these results, be it MPSC or WAS, we see the private schools taking the lead in this examination.
Well, that one I cannot say that, but let me complete this. I will answer your question. Then the third point there is the late payment of fee subsidies, which is disturbing us, and also the straining quality of even the teachers, because the teachers themselves are not motivated. Coming back to your question, that one we cannot blame teachers, neither will blame the schools. Here sometimes I do blame also poor parenting. It was during Pakaba's time I was in fact supervising an examination in one of the prominent schools in Bo. Some of the students came and the people said, some of them said, we are sitting Pakaba's mock finals. We will be sitting to private examinations. It means even the learners themselves are not willing to learn. And since they are not willing to learn, you can take the horse to the river, or you cannot force that horse to think. So the teachers can do everything humanly possible. But if the learners themselves are not, are not willing to imbibe their teaching, then it will just be difficult for them. Answering your question again, the rate or the level at which teachers teach at private school is different from the rate at which we do teach in government schools and government assisted. Most times, principals don't in fact monitor their teachers. Most times, in private school sector, because one, you have to sign an agreement, and the other way around also, this exam malpractice also.
The principals of the schools have their concerns, because days ago we hosted someone from the Sierra Teachers Union, and there have been concerns with regards them having the subsidies that they used to run these schools, and some of their teachers are not even on the payroll, and they go to teach every day. So don't you think that also affects the learning? That also
demotivate the teachers. I was once Commissioner Teaching Service Commission. But this country, sometimes you will bring out brilliant ideas, brilliant suggestions, but people will kick it off. There was a time in this nation, I told people, we have MPs. Those days, because President Bill came to power by this constituency, because is that also Mr. Politician? 2018.
First past the post.
Fine. That was what? So every MP by then, they had their constituencies. And those constituencies, they do, like in my own village, we have 3 chiefdoms. And those chiefdoms, they have schools. And the MPs themselves, even though they are doing oversight, I think the cries of the people. You know that school A, B, C do not have qualified teachers. I think it is your place. Put this thing to Parliament, let people use the idea, and let
Bishop, you spoke about first past the post, constituency-based elections. Now, that is the topic of the day. That is being discussed. Now, the thing is,
allow me to learn. Don't leave me there. Leave that for the politician.
You are trying to say.
Allow me to learn.
Allow me. I got your point.
Allow me to learn. No, I will talk with them. Allow me to learn, please. Allow me to learn. Allow me to learn and leave that for the politician. I will come there later. I know I'm one of the moral guarantors. I will come there later because it affects us all. Exactly. It affects us all. But allow me to learn. What I'm saying, if they decide to take people from every chiefdom, let them go to, now that teacher training colleges everywhere, this distance learning, and after their graduation, let teaching service commission, let them apportion, how do they call this thing, pin codes by chiefdom levels. I think that one will solve this problem. Are you getting me? So sometimes you see people leaving from Bo or even Freetown, they are moving to the villages. Sometimes as they get the pin code, then they transfer themselves back to Freetown or to the urban centers and leaving the schools empty.
But then what do you say also about the remote area allowances? That motivates the teachers to stay in remote areas. For example, you go to certain places. As a field reporter, I know every district in this country. I know every chiefdom. I've been to every chiefdom, and I know, the conditions under which these teachers are.
My brother.
So most of the trained and qualified teachers prefer to stay in the urban areas to part of the rural areas, because you go to these places, that's very difficult for you to.
So, man, I want the government or even the minister of, if he's seeing me, Conrad, for him, let them shift the goalpost a bit. Yeah, you have communities where somebody have his plantation, he has a house, he's not going to pay rent, he's not going to, he has his family. Improve on the educational part of those people and give them automatic pin codes, let them go there. You will not take me from here to the village. Since I was, excuse me 1 minute, let me lie. Ever since I've been a teacher for 20 years, I've never experienced this remote what allowance. We've never experienced that. But so if that, we will learn by doing things. Let people change the goalpost so that those in their various communities.
But when do you think the TQ teachers, the TQ teachers, that is the trained and qualified teachers, prefer the urban areas to that of the rural settings? Most of them. Because if you go to let me
ask you this question. Will you be comfortable if they remove you from your comfort zone here in Freetown? Here you are born and bred, and they take you to, let me say, to Kabbalah or wherever to go, even to go and head the station. Will you be happy?
No, incentives are there.
No, but forget what incentive. But that is the same thing to also the teachers. That is the same thing. So what they will do, let them make use of those in their communities to improve on them and let them stay where they are. Right. That is what I'm doing as a bishop.
Okay, now you mentioned,
let me apply what I did when I became a bishop. You understand? Okay. There are some poor communities, deprived communities, trust me. Because if I decide to transfer somebody from Bo to another area, that person will say, Bishop has punished me. That's why then I went round the area that I'm, both south and east. And I got people and I brought them over and I trained them and I ordained them and I sent them back to their homes. And they are doing greatly. Because they have their farms. Why you do those sort of things? Because of retirement. When you retire, I'm in my 60s. The government paid my benefit and also every year I'm now getting my wife from NASIT. You understand? So if you're in that of your locality, believe you me, you know that even if they retire you today, your plantation will feed you. Okay. Your part will feed you. But staying here in Freetown, staying here in Bo, staying here in Makeni, without your home.
Okay, now Bishop,
when they retire, you should suffer.
Let us come to this. The purpose of your interest is that you are calling on governments to discontinue the free education scheme. Okay, now
President Bio cannot discontinue. What I said, the suggestion I'm making, because one, he already made a proclamation. No, he pronounced it, being a policy. So what you do, I said after his tenure, anybody, any government, any particular party A or party B, let them discontinue. And because most of this money, are taken elsewhere. This is big shop, they can even build schools, they can equip other areas.
So you don't see value for money.
That is because the point there, even the parents do not appreciate these things.
Okay, now you made a case study here. You mentioned Ghana, right? About the free quality education. Now, this free quality education, in Ghana.
The free is
for senior secondary schools in Ghana. That one was introduced by the former president Nana Akufo-Addo. And during the campaign, the 2024 campaign, the NDC, which is now in power, that is the National Democratic Congress, founded by former president and the late Jerry John Rawlings, they criticized, that they are the free agents. But then, when they took power, when they came in 2025, they didn't discontinue it. In fact, what they did was to modify. So, in other words, are you calling for modification or total, discontinuation?
My worry here is because our nation is being driven by donors and these taxes. Because the more you add taxes on people, on institutions, the more price of things high. So in that regard, and I will tell you, if you see the bulk, the quantum of money the government pays every time, trust me, those monies will be. If, let me assume, a secondary school, JSS is 150 per annum, SSS is 180 per annum. Whose parent cannot provide 50,000 or 50 million for his or her child? So I'm not saying as we are about let that bill or the president bill, let them modify it this remaining years.
Okay.
And after
so you are suggesting modification now.
Modification now.
And total discontinuation.
No, if they want to continue with it, let it be a national something. Let APC don't say that was brought by President Bio, because we felt that when the child support, when APC took over, we found a lot of difficulties in the payment. So that is why let it be a national policy, so that whosoever comes will decide to spend more on education.
But you just with us in the program, he is the former president of the National Conference of Principals, Bishop Solomon Scott Manga, speaking there on the free quality education and teachers' welfare. Well, we take a health tip of today. Today we focus on foods that provide nutrients important for maintaining good eye health. A healthy diet can support your eyesight, but foods cannot cure glaucoma or cataracts. Let us watch and learn from our health tip of today.
What are the best foods to eat for improving eye health and vision? What are the reasons those foods are particularly important for maintaining eye health? How much you need to eat in order to obtain enough essential nutrients from those foods to obtain the health benefits. To learn more, keep watching. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Audrey Tai. I'm a board-certified and fellowship-trained cataract and refractive surgeon, ophthalmologist, and cornea specialist. Welcome back to my channel by Eye Surgeon. I'm here to bring you the latest information on eye health and medicine. I also have a master's degree in nutrition, and I have made a series of videos on nutrition and eye health. You can check out other videos on this topic with the link above. This is a two-part video series on the most nutritious foods for eye health. In today's video, I will cover the animal origin or non-plant-based foods that are the most nutritious for eye health. So stay tuned, hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you won't miss part 2 of this video series covering the most nutritious vegetables and fruits for eye health. Number 1. Eggs. Eggs are one of the few foods that could be classified as superfoods because of the density and the range of nutrients that are packed in a small package. Eggs contain a high concentration of vitamins, minerals, and proteins, healthy fats. Whole eggs are so nutritious that they are sometimes referred as nature's multivitamin. On average, one egg contains about 70 to 80 calories, with 7 grams of high-quality protein, 5 grams of fat, 1.6 grams of saturated fat, along with vitamins, minerals, and carotenoids. Let's look at which nutrients and the amount of each nutrient that are contained in eggs. One large egg contains numerous vitamins that are essential for maintaining eye health, such as 6% of the recommended dietary allowance or RDA for vitamin A, which is an essential fat-soluble vitamin that serves as the molecule that transmits the signal of stimulation from light in our eyes to the brain, allowing us to see both during the day and at night. Vitamin A is also an essential for maintaining the health of the surface of our eyes, protecting the health of the cornea, the clear windshield of our eyes, and the conjunctiva, the layer of clear skin outside the white part of our eyes, the sclera. To learn more about vitamin A and eye health, you can check out this video. Each large egg also contains 15% of the RDA of vitamin B2 or riboflavin, 7% of the RDA of vitamin B5, 5% of the RDA of folate or vitamin B9, 9% of the RDA for vitamin B12 or cobalamin. Vitamin B12 is important for maintaining the health of optic nerve, and folate is important in maintaining the health of the retina. You can learn more about how vitamin B complex affects eye health in
We are back, and the program you are still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live from a broadcasting hub in Englandville in Freetown. Well, we still have Dr. Richard Conte, one of the flag aspirants for the main opposition, APC. Now, even though you're here talking about the tenure of this current executive which has elapsed, and insofar as you are concerned, you want them out. Now, you are also in this space, and I know you've been engaging across the country. So the question is, how is Dr. Richard Conte's campaign going?
It's going very well. I'm very, very happy with the outcome so far, and I'm very optimistic that I'll be the next flag bearer for the APC and the next president of Sierra Leone.
So what gives you that assurance?
Well, we've done the constituency elections. We had 1,056 delegate positions up for grabs. My scanning of the results where they've come out reveals to me that I easily have 60 to 70% of the delegates already elected who have pledged their support for me.
Now, what is your touch? What is your touch with the delegates? Now, the constituency in your primaries, you've concluded the ward elections. You are in the constituency elections, which actually determine, the NDC or the composition of the NDC. Because at what level you don't get delegates, for the NDC. From constituency, district, region, now you have delegates for the NDC. So what is this touch? What is your touch? Because the process is incomplete, and there are also delays. So what is your touch with will be delegates? Because as it stands right now, you don't have a complete composition of who the delegates are going to.
Like I said, we have 1,056 delegates up for grabs on the constituency level. We have 272 delegates up for grabs at the district level, and then we have 80 delegates up for grabs at the regional level. And then, of course, we have the national, plus the members of parliament, plus the councillors, plus the other statutory delegates who will be the super delegates who will have to be added to the list. So we'll have about 1,800 thereabout at the end of the number of delegates.
You know them yet?
No.
Until they are elected.
I'm talking about the numbers.
The numbers.
Yes. So I have gone all over this country. I've visited 80% plus of all the constituencies. I am in touch personally with elected delegates all over the country, and the feedback I'm getting from them is very, very positive. I had built a relationship with them from 2018, and I've sustained that relationship, and I've received assurances from them because of the relationship we built, and I'm very confident.
After the ward elections, in your primaries, we saw the politics on social media. Every candidate or aspirant claiming victory. Oh, I won the ward level elections. Most of the delegates, most of those who won the ward level elections are actually my supporters. They are my delegates. Everybody, and the likes of the Jagaban, the JFK, the DIB, as the case may be.
And there were also reports on who is the most popular in the party.
I'm sure you did not hear me say a word.
Yeah.
Because I understand elections. I knew that even though I was very comfortable with the outcome of the elections at the world level, I knew it was too early to claim victory. Just like as soon as you start seeing results coming in, maybe from your stronghold, then you go on air and declare victory. No, that's very premature. I decided to wait until the constituency elections were conducted. Since I'm one aspirant who can name the constituency executives in almost every constituency in this country by name, I'm in touch with them personally. So the first thing I did was to get the full list of all the delegates that have won. I have them. I have all of their telephone numbers. All. And I've reached out to all of them.
Well, these are the same delegates that are being engaged by all the aspirants.
Well, that is politics.
These are the same delegates.
Well, I don't know.
So that's what we are asking if you are confident that you will get the votes of these delegates.
Very confident.
Because are they delegates or delegates?
Delegates, and I'm very comfortable. Well, you can never be 100% sure. Let me make it clear. The last convention, for example, I hosted over 60% of the delegates in Makeni. But at the last minute, we'll know what happened. So you can never be 100% sure. But I tell you, I am very confident.
So in 30 seconds before we let you go, what are your expectations? Because you have raised concern with regards this current executive. What are your expectations moving forward?
My desire would be that the court, like they did with Fisher in 2022, will rule that the continued stay of this executive will be illegal and will order, therefore, an interim. Whether they will uphold the nominations by the PPRC or not, I don't know. But I just know that my expectation would be that they will declare the continued stay of this executive illegal, and they will ask for an interim to be able to take us to convention. Because this is what happened with the SLPP, this is what happened to our party in 2022, so there's already a legal basis for that to happen. So that's my expectation.
Okay, now quickly, Doctor, before you go, what if Dr. Richard Conte loses NDC insofar as the Flagler race is concerned?
I will not lose.
What will be,
I will win.
Because we've seen, in previous elections or previous NDCs, after delegates conference. In fact, delegates conference, make or break kind of, situations. In a way, we see people having lost. What they do is that they go, even though probably they will not go and form a new political party, but they remain aloof. They become disinterested. In your own case, if for any reason you are not voted for to carry the flag of your party, what would be the position of Dr. Richard?
I'm sure you know in 2023, regardless of what happened, I was the first to congratulate Dr. Samura and I gave him my full support. In 2028, I will correct all of my mistakes and I will emerge as the flag bearer, and in the elections, as far as the easier part, I'm going to defeat SLPP on the first ballot.
Dr. Richard Conte is very optimistic.
Yes, very optimistic.
Well,
he came second in the last NDC.
Thank you very much. Is Dr.
So,
Richard Conte is the flag bearer aspirant for the APC. Well, we still have Bishop Solomon Scott Manga in the studio. Now, Bishop, quickly, what are your recommendations moving forward? Because Sheku was asking about the modification and
discontinuation. Discontinuation versus modification.
No, President Bio cannot discontinue in his own term because he has already made the pronouncement. The only thing they need to modify, they need to improve on where the lapses are, more especially in terms of the funding. And also I know they are recruiting teachers, but I think the recruitment is not really getting to the extreme ends where they are supposed to be recruited. And there are certain things, in fact, there are certain subjects like French or whatsoever. As long as somebody doesn't have education, they cannot approve it. You understand? And French, for the next 5 to 10 years, French will die down in this country. Reason being, because we are not making use of our brothers from the Ivory Coast or the Guineans who are teaching French without education. You understand? So if the government will not look into that again, there are certain courses, there are certain professional courses, you know, they don't need education. As long as somebody can do the right thing. Because when the 634 came, the intention of the government by then was for them to even equip the schools. Because the person that from JSS 3, if you are not in line with that bookish that type of education, then you go to the other area, the tech folk. But there is no school here which you can see. In our own days, we used to have schools that do have this woodwork. Technical areas. Yeah. So all those things. So if you are not comfortable in that area, you move to the other area. But to everybody, you just put everything in context. So it means the Beke is not necessary. Because all of them will fail again, and all of them will go again to the grammar school type of education. Want to go to university, and after graduating from university, are you coming back to pay? So we really want the government to modify, more especially this fee subsidy, and also to encourage teachers to improve on the salaries.
But in addition, do you think this quest for grammar school education is largely responsible for examination malpractice?
No. Well, you see, when the fact that when you don't have the foundation, because the child, people start to cheat from even the NPSC. NPSC, you will see the teacher will stand in front of the pupils and read out what. Some people normally get these fat numbers.
How can a minor,
But that is it.
A minor.
They can again because you have started already telling them what to do. You are teaching them. So from the NPSC, go to Beke, go to WAS, and they will graduate now in the university. That is why you are seeing even at university now, people are using their phones to sit examinations. Somebody will graduate from the university when he or she comes. In our own days, your division 3, believe you me, the division 1 these days cannot front you division 3.
Okay.
In our own days. But today, that is just mere waste of time.
Alright, okay. Thank you so much. I'm Bishop Solomon Scott Manga, former President Council of Conference of Principals in the country. Thank you so much for your updates this morning and your concern as a senior citizen. Thank you also, Dr. Richard Conte, one of the Gambia aspirants and for the main opposition APC. Well, that is how we say goodbye. It has been good morning, Sagalio, reaching to you live from Sagalio, broadcasting Very Primary School, the entire production team, especially Police Joseph Stabile. I am Teacher Kusman.
And I am Esther Sako. You can take our quote of the day, and it says, in politics, honesty and accountability are the foundations of public trust. Good morning, sir. Let me return tomorrow. Stay glued to your public service podcaster, the SLBC, if you can. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.
As a mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done, and its preparation, it is not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup base, it's easily done with no difficulties. Just take few ladles and your soup is done. And its flavor, it's amazing. This is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. And this is Nkulenu's Ghana's original spiced palm soup base. Iron fruit and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available brown gold natural cocoa powder, sunny gold brown sugar, meat fufu flour, shito, pisa and moringa.